Today's show is about friendships, and we decided to do something for the boys. Now, guys, you do not always have to connect around the braai. So how's about a scrumptious wors and bacon pasta that you can make with your buddy? Jay, you are calling the gents to come away from that braai stand. Not everything has to be done on the fire.
Because I say braai not.
Braai not. That's a lovely one.
Look,
and this is quite a simple recipe, but very flavorful.
Very flavorful, and it still delivers the same kind of flavors and textures that you would expect at a braai. It's just in a different form. So let's get into it. So we've got our pan on the heat there, medium to high heat.
Okay.
I'm just going to put some oil into the pan there.
So before you continue with this recipe, can you explain to me why you've chosen a wors specifically, bearing in mind that we're taking people away from their braai stand to this? So why would we use wors in this particular recipe?
I mean, firstly, because I think it's one of the greatest exports from South Africa, full stop. And secondly, all the flavor in this meat already cuts out 3 to 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
So if you can think about, you know, your coriander seeds, sometimes nutmeg, clove, you know, it's got all that seasoning and so much fat in here that adds flavor galore. So that's why we're using boerewors over here. And we're going to sort of decase it and roll it into sort of golf ball sizes and get that frying into our pan. And I mean, the minute it touches the oil, it just screams of, you know, South Africa.
I see you've gone for about like golf ball size.
Yeah. Plating of pasta, you sort of still want to be a bit gentle with it, just simply because you want everyone to get a bit of everything. Whereas if you make them too big, you might just find yourself missing out on a meatball when you dish up, and that's not what we want. So we've got our boerewors in there, and can you smell that to me? Look at that golden color that we're going for. So we're using quite a nice, you know, cast iron skillet. And that gives you the same kind of browning that you want in your boerewors. And you mentioned bacon earlier. I've got some diced bacon.
And the thing is, people don't understand that this cooking process that you're doing now, where you're getting it on a high heat, it does release that smokiness because the oil basically keeps going. The liquid that gets released here causes it to sort of flame up and it has that smokiness. So you'd still have that braai stand situation smokiness that you'd have if you were doing this out on if you're braaiing wors on a braai stand. But here, we still have that smoky flavor that's going to bind so well with the bacon and all the flavors that you're adding to this. And it also is just so simple because the bacon is already salted. The wors is already sorted, so it's very minimal.
It's a tick recipe. So now we're going to start building our sauce, right? So we're going in with some garlic, fresh garlic, right? Bit of chili, just because I love a bit of a kick.
Same. Nowadays. I've started liking chilies, and I think it works especially for dishes like this with the tomato, where the acid and chili works so well.
Because why? Because balance. That's what we're looking for today. So we're going to just toss that through, and then I'm going to add my tinned tomatoes. Again, such a humble ingredient. And available everywhere. We all have it in our pantries.
Versatile, yes. I was actually going to say that because it works as such a great binder of different types of textures as well. And that acidity, if you find that it might be a little too much for you, just add a touch of sugar to balance it as well.
Love that. But now, where we're coming with the balance is the good old faithful can of baked beans. And often it has a bit of sweetness in there. So we're going to go in with a whole can. Oh, how good does this look? So this is actually some of the reserve pasta water that we have. You've cooked the pasta ahead of time. This is a great thickener. Again, you're saving costs. You're not adding another ingredient. You're not complicating it. So we're just going to pour a little bit of that in. And just look at that. You've already got your sauce. And the only thing we need to do is season with some salt and pepper. I like quite a generous amount of seasoning on top of what the boerewors is delivering today.
And we've cooked our pasta very al dente in this instance because we're going to obviously just heat it up. Well, we're going to add it on top there. So if you want to check whether your pasta is al dente or not, I just use a trick where I put it between my finger. If it's overcooked, it'll be all mush. But if it's not overcooked, it basically has a bit of bounce. So you press it down and it doesn't flatten out. So you can use your fingers to taste, or to check, or you can taste, but you don't want it overcooked because it becomes mush.
For sure. And remember, the sauce is hot, so it's going to continue cooking. And a bit of garnish and chooms.
Voila!
This is us on a plate. We did it again, Shomi.
We did it again. Friendships winning day after day. And to get this recipe, you can head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full recipe. Don't eat without me and ingredient list to make this tasty recipe.